It's Tuesday, September 10th. You're listening to Your Florida Daily. I'm Katrina Scales. With a break in the rain, a space mission unlike any other lights up the sky over central Florida.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
The Polaris Dawn mission rocketed off the launch pad at Kennedy Space Center a little before 5:30 this morning. On board, 4 private explorers going where no civilians have gone before.
Thumbs up from the pilot on the left side there.
Max Q.
Liftoff was just the beginning. What's next is a daring excursion into a radiation belt heading into the highest orbit since the Apollo program.
When you go higher into space, there comes with all sorts of potential challenges. You're putting a lot of energy in a vehicle, then you take it out. But there's other realities when you're up there too, which is a completely different micrometeorite orbital debris environment.
Pilot and billionaire Jared Isaacman, along with 2 SpaceX engineers, Sarah Gillis and Anna Menton, along with Scott Poteet, a former United States Air Force pilot, are now in space undergoing an essential pre-breathe process, slowly flushing nitrogen from their bodies to prepare for the riskiest part of this mission. The crew will be exposed to the vacuum of space as Isaacman and Gillis conduct the world's first non-government spacewalk.
The crew went through an extensive training regimen to build their physical endurance and mental toughness, ensuring they are well-rounded and prepared for spaceflight, and especially for the first ever commercial spacewalk.
Their spacesuits are also part of the experiment, designed with new technology and very different from the puffy white suits from NASA. The Polaris Dawn mission only has enough life support for 5 or 6 days in space. So if all goes well, by the end of this week, the crew will splash down in the Atlantic Ocean. And state police are showing up at the homes of Florida voters to question them about signing a petition to get an abortion rights amendment on the ballot in November. Earlier this month, Governor DeSantis announced an investigation into thousands of signatures collected for the measure. Critics say they're the latest efforts by Florida's Republican elected officials to leverage state resources to try and block the abortion rights measure. But DeSantis defended police visits, saying the goal is to make sure November's vote is fair. Some Democratic officials argue this could violate state laws against voter intimidation. Florida law currently bans most abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. But if Amendment 4 is approved by at least 60% of voters, the procedure would remain legal until the fetus is viable, as determined by the patient's healthcare provider. DeSantis said his election police found evidence that some of the supposed signatures were from dead people. Meanwhile, a state healthcare agency launched a new website last week targeting Amendment 4. The governor claims the website is not political, despite a landing page proclaiming that Florida is protecting life. Find these top stories along with breaking news, weather, and traffic all day on clickorlando.com. And now, a completely random Florida fact. Did Ponce de Leon land in central Florida? While historians agree that the Spanish conquistador wasn't seeking the fountain of youth, they don't agree on where he first set foot on Florida's sandy shores. One theory suggests, though, that it may have been on the Space Coast. In the early 1990s, when historian and sailor Douglas T. Peck retraced Ponce's journey from Puerto Rico to Florida, he landed just south of Melbourne Beach. St. Augustine claims to be the initial landing site, but today the exact location remains undetermined. Your Florida Daily is produced by News 6, WKMG in Orlando. I'm Katrina Scales. Subscribe for new episodes wherever you like to listen.